So yeah, this is what I did for my MSc dissertation in GIS a few years ago. So this is what I'm going to cover, and I also used it for my job interview last year. So basically, yeah, I need to do it to get my MSc in GIS. Domestic violence has been an increasing problem over the last, for about how long? And my dissertation was based in Northern Ireland, where domestic violence had a way to see a high level of attention from the police that it needed due to the troubles, as well as just issues that first time that I found in the literature of that someone doing a countrywide analysis. So I did it for the whole of Northern Ireland, probably reaching a bit too far, but hey ho. There's previous proven links between domestic violence and poverty, and I was also looking at the crime rates as well and see how they all match up. So yeah, examined all the existing literature, find out what other people did, and then try and use their methods. Looked at the statistics and possible causes, of which there are many, money, relationships, again, the issues, collated domestic violence statistics from PSNI, so they've only been collated centrally since 2005. Before that had been done by just local police forces. And also there was various different coverages, which, yeah, made it a bit more interesting. So data available, crime data, so I was able to get that from the police service website. Multiple measures, so the same as what you get on specific. Census data, and then due to disparities in coverages and collection methods, I had to like rejiggle the whole data set to make sure it worked properly.
It's all about time, and you look at this book that was written, because some of the sexual politics are not as we would expect them now. You look at it through the prism of the theory, John. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, so on the left, so all my data was down to electoral ward level. So the black lines made the electoral wards as in 1993, and then in 2014 they then decided to change all the electoral wards, and it wasn't like little changes to a few of them. They just did 100% scrub on it. Pretty sure they did it just to annoy me, but I could be wrong. And so I've come up with an aerial conversion method. So the image on the right shows the cross-hatched area, and that's how I had to like recalculate all the stats. There we go. Yep, so analysis methods I used, initially used bivariate analysis, just as a guide to see which factors would be most influential. And then order release squares, geographic weighted, and Bayesian methodology, which I had a quick look at it. But yeah, it's a little bit too hard for me, so I just chinned it off. Yeah, so these are the areas of the highest domestic violence instances. So let's see, there you've got Belfast, and then down there Enniskillen, Londonderry/Derry, depending on where you come from, and Coleraine there. So mostly built up around the main towns, and also Antrim just up there. But it was a very large data set, so that gave me a lot of scope to play about with it. So bivariate analysis. So this was with obviously domestic violence as the main factor, and then how these influenced it. So on the crime side, we've got criminal damage and violent sexual robbery as being the highest contributors. And then on the socioeconomic side, we've got a lack of vehicles, which is recorded in census data, and social renting. So yeah, no households not having any vehicles is a common statistic for calculating poverty. And this could all relate to like the broken windows crime theory. So like small crimes will then in an area will then lead to large crimes. And then this is my ordinary least squares multivariate analysis. Again, yeah, there's a lot of number crunching. I think I ended up doing like 100 iterations to get these factors. So the adjusted R squared value, got on my pointer, shows how well the model fits variables. So -1 shows a negative correlation, 0's no correlation, and then +1 is a perfect correlation. But if you do get a +1 in this area, then you've probably done something wrong with the data and it's all gone a little bit peaked on. AIC shows how well the model fits, so this when you're at the lowest number. And then the diff shows you if you've got any dodgy data. So you have collinearity, whereas you could have two data sets which are different but show the same sort of data, and it can like mess your model up because allow too much influence to be in the model. So yeah, I did geographic weight regression as well. Traditionally, people have had better results with this than ordinary least squares, but I didn't find that, and the R squared scores were lower, and so I just those results were not suitable. So the difference between geographic weight regression and ordinary least squares is ordinary least squares for geographic area will look at the whole area as like one data set, whereas geographic weight regression looks at each geographic feature by itself and then see how it relates to the others. And then final output. So these are the ordinary least squares residuals. So blue is minus 2.5 standard deviations. Red is greater than 2.5 standard deviations. So this is run using a Moran's autocorrelation method. And basically that pattern is ideal as the areas are mostly random. Again, you've got a few clumps, but no massive clumps. And most of the data is in the middle range. So, yeah. So benefits, I say improved correlation between crime and domestic abuse, as well as poverty. It allows authorities to target key areas regarding domestic abuse, and it identifies how the analysis could be improved in the future. So obviously, try not to do a whole country with 1.8 million people, because it's really difficult. The data, again, because I did this a few years ago, we've obviously had the 2021 census, so you could use that data. Yeah, alternate data sources, so I was using the official police records, but again, historically, people didn't go to the police regarding domestic abuse, and they didn't want to see any of the local people again for various reasons. So again, looking at alternate sources like domestic abuse charities, GPs, stuff like that. And of course, the good old the modifiable aerial unit problem, how do we divide up an area into smaller areas of interest? I use electoral wards, but you could use MSOAs or other sources. Yeah, and obviously MORP's always going to come up. Right, are there any questions? Oh, yeah.
Thanks so much. It's so interesting. I think this is really important. Sorry, I can't really we've been talking a bit we've been talking about some of the other areas in data set and like the list of data that we would want to like improve our analyses or try and something. I just wondered whether if you could sort of wave a wand and collect a particular data point, or if there's something missing out there that you wish that you could add to them to create a bit more insight, like what would that be?
Yeah. So I'd say the actual numbers of domestic abuse victims, because again, historically the world over, it's normally underreported. Again, stereotypically, most people imagine it's like a male perpetrator and a female victim, But, you know, it could be the other way around. Sometimes, in some cases, it can change on a day-to-day basis. And also, it can also include, like, you know, a daughter abusing their mother can also be included as domestic abuse, which, you know, may not be gathered up in statistics. So yeah, I'd say, you know, super accurate domestic abuse information. Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks very much for the talk. Can you say more about how you did it? What sort of tools you used to actually do the analysis?
Oh, right. Oh. No, I used ArcMap. So yeah, I used ArcMap. So that's a GIS software for mapping. It has since then been superseded by ArcGIS Pro. So yeah, so it's a GIS software called ArcMap.
Which Donald's actually speaking about straight after this one.
Yeah.
I was going to say that's got pro in the name, sounds like it's favourite.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are free alternatives. So there's QGIS and MapInfo, which are free alternatives, but we use ArcGIS Pro just because we always have done. No, because it's got more facilities and capabilities than the free ones, even though the free ones are still pretty good. Yeah.
Sorry if I missed it, but did you have any issues like getting the data? Or was it
Yeah, it's all publicly available, so I just had to log on to the Northern Ireland Police website for their data. The multiple deprivation measures were freely available, and census data. Yeah, the only issue with the data was like different coverages. So some of the data was based on electoral wards that were like created in 1993, and then the other ones were created in 2014. And because my data went from 2005 to 2018, yeah. With hindsight, I probably should have just chinned off, or sorry, de-escalated one of the electoral wards just to make it a lot simpler. But well, no, go big or go home, so I went there.